Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Joe here from buildassetsonline.com, along with my brother Mike, as usual. And today we're going to be asking the question and, of course, answering the question, how important is retargeting for your high ticket dropshipping store? Now, Mike and I had a little bit of a discussion before the segment, and I said that I wanted to name this episode that retargeting is super important for your high ticket dropshipping store. And Mike came back and said, it's not that important for our audience. And so we're going to dive into that because I think, there's a lot of, we can get into the weeds here with the language that we're using and all that stuff. But Mike, tell them why you think retargeting is not that important.
So I think for the majority of people watching this, they're not going to be at the point where, say, they're doing 30,000 in sales a month, 50,000 in sales a month on their high ticket dropshipping stores. The majority of people are just starting out, and that's fine. And so I didn't want it to get misconstrued that if someone has just started their store and they're not getting sales, it's because, oh, I'm not retargeting them. Usually the issue is something else, because if you completely disregarded retargeting, you can probably get to the 30,000 a month mark, 50,000. I mean, even if you're at the 10,000 with retargeting, I'd say, okay, like, you've proven that you can consistently make sales. Now you want to start thinking about retargeting. You want to be doing it from the get-go, but you want to start focusing on your actual efforts to retarget people and use that as an additional revenue stream. Because in the beginning, you have no pixel. You have no audience of people that have visited your site that you can then go and try and bid more to target. What you have is a brand new store, no name, people don't know who you are, you have nothing. So you need to focus on getting as many new people to your site as possible. And a lot of people will buy on their first time visiting your website. Joe and I were just looking now, and like a lot of our sales still are first time visits. But if you want to get big sales, if you want to get more consistent sales, and you want to essentially have the cheapest traffic source possible, that's where retargeting comes in. But it's not going to be effective until you actually focus on the front end of traffic.
Right. So I think what I wanted to communicate to people with this episode, Mike, you used the word consistent sales. Consistent sales is something that when we first got started doing dropshipping, in 2016, we sort of lacked consistent sales. We would get a big sale here, a big sale there, but it wasn't as consistent as it is now, where we're, I could almost every day, I feel like we're getting a big sale multiple times a day, as a matter of fact, and I'm not even really logged on to all the stores on my phone. But anyway, I think that is happening now because our traffic pools are so large, and I think it's important to understand that when you're starting out a site, you're starting out your ads conservatively. You have 100 people going to your site a day, if that, maybe 30 people, maybe 50 people, maybe 60 people. It's a way different thing than when you have 1,000 people going to your site a day, and then you're building that backlog of visitors who have visited the site. And they're starting to recognize your domain. They're starting to recognize your brand. They're seeing you around the web because you're retargeting them. They're seeing you on social media. Maybe they bookmarked a few of your products. They're doing some research. It really is, I think, like I said, the key to unlocking consistent sales is when you're getting your store name in the mind of all of the consumers out there that are looking for those products.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if you're not doing retargeting, you're losing money because this traffic is coming in anyway.
Yeah.
So if you're not taking that audience and building your funnel up of front-end visitors, people that have visited a second time, and like doing all that segmentation in your ads account, which we talk about in the course, then yeah, you're losing out on money because retargeting sales are the cheapest. Your click-through rates are insane. And it is the best way to build a brand, even if it's just you're building a brand with one customer. Because with retargeting, you can control how often they see you. Once someone comes on our website, the retargeting effort that we put in is massive because we know it's the easiest way to essentially just like dominate their entire, like Google search results and even, Facebook and stuff like that. But specifically Google search results when they're searching for anything relevant to what they already searched. So yeah, if you don't do it, you're losing out. But the point is that you need a steady flow of new customers, and then your funnel, your personal funnel, will build and build and build, and that's when you can actually extract a lot of revenue from that bottom of the funnel.
Right. So I think one of the key takeaways here is that number one, like you said, each of your traffic streams, whether it's getting new users or retargeting, they should be standing on their own 2 feet all by themselves. Your new user campaigns, at least when you're first getting started, should be profitable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can't like lose sight of the fact that the initial campaigns need to be entirely profitable.
Right.
And anything you do from there is only additional, and that's how you take it to the next level and get, stores that earn 6 figures or do 6 figures in revenue consistently. Yeah, that's the main point, is that you need to get everything else working first, and then your retargeting will work even better.
Yeah, and I think that's what we were trying to not miscommunicate to people. We don't want people out there going like, oh man, my original campaign is not working well. Let me crank things up for no reason and just to get a bigger retargeting pixel for the sake of it. That's not what we're talking about here. We're kind of just talking about how everything builds upon each other and things will become more consistent and accelerate once you're getting more traffic. So yeah.
And that's actually what people who do Facebook ads do. We've talked about this before. They'll just they'll crank through their initial front end ads just to get as many people as possible into their retargeting pool and just hope that it works from there.
Yeah.
That's not what we do. As you know, Joe. That's not what we do.
No, I know. I know. No, and I think that's yeah. So
that's how you break the bank. We're trying to build the bank.
We're trying to build the bank. Yeah. So I'm just trying to keep the message to something that's understandable for people and something that's consistent, because you want to go into it with a long-term frame of mind. And what I mean by that is you want to be able to expose your store and your brand name to everyone searching for this stuff. And that's only something that happens over time, and it builds by your initial campaigns being profitable, your retargeting campaigns finding people all over the web, and then finally, your SEO campaigns or your SEO articles, your SEO efforts, reaching people when they're doing research or searching for the best this, the best that. They're searching for product 1 versus product 2. But it's important to keep in mind that, when you're first starting up your store, assuming you do everything correctly, you'll be making some sales, but really it starts to pick up in the long term, because these are all long-term things. Like, they cannot happen overnight. You cannot rank an article in Google overnight. You're not going to build a profitable campaign in Google Ads overnight, because you need to, let it marinate, let it sit there, tweak it, and then, scale it slowly if you want to do it profitably, unless you have like some sort of angel investor funding, which you would never have for this. But yeah.
Agreed.
Cool. So bit of a short one, guys, but that about wraps it up. But there was some stuff that we want to talk about and get out there and kind of get you guys thinking in the long term of what your stores could be, and kind of show you guys how we think about this stuff. Again, more traffic, more consistency, more sales. That's it. We'll see you in the next episode.
Take it easy.